Today's video is sponsored by Moonlight Sculptor. From the developers that brought you Sheix, Moonlight Sculptor is based off the famous novel, The Legendary Moonlight Sculptor. Alongside Moonlight Sculptor's immersive story, you can enter weekly tournaments where you can claim your crown and epic rewards as champion, or hop in the ever-changing dungeons at the chaotic entrance where you can get XP and rare treasures by defeating nefarious enemies and powerful bosses. Moonlight Sculptor recently had their first update, which added loads of content. The action never stops in Moonlight Sculptor with sleep mode, play offline, and never stop earning that precious loot. So use my link and download Moonlight Sculptor today. I don't even think I really need to say too much about the title of the video. I just want to play some Michelangelo. I want to tell you guys why I think gauntlets are the best weapon, and honestly why they're going to remain at the top for a really long time. Also, I'm going to be hiding actually a Michelangelo code in this video, so if you get it, make sure you comment, let everyone know, and yeah, good luck. So, gauntlets are a weapon I've been playing ever since they really released Vow. Yeah, Core is the first legend, but I never really was interested in the weapon until that character came out, and I've kind of been back and forth with Vow ever since. I mean, a lot of my best placements have come from Vow, I just should say they've come from gauntlets in general. Like, gauntlets have always been a weapon that they felt really good to me, aside from a few specific scenarios, and I figure we start there. I think the scenarios that gauntlets are honestly not that great in are against, like, bow, and then I think the argument is there for probably guitars. I don't know that much about the gauntlet matchup into greatsword. I actually think gauntlets might be able to do relatively well, just because gauntlets have such great options and they're super fast. And I will say, I think greatsword is definitely up there. I know there's some thoughts about greatsword being the best weapon in Brawlhalla, and I can't necessarily deny that. I will say though, I feel like greatsword in 2s is still just not nearly at the level that gauntlets is, and I think just overall gauntlets is probably a better weapon. Now, if we were talking about specifically, then maybe I would say greatsword has that potential to be the best weapon in 1s, but when you got a weapon like this and able to dominate both game modes so effectively, so efficiently, like, it's really hard to argue against that for sure. But yeah, that's really, I guess, the opening statement. Like, there's very few situations where I think gauntlets do bad, and I honestly think as time goes on, with gauntlets being at the level they are at, obviously you're gonna have the people who are just gonna be like, you know, screw it, I'm gonna play gauntlets, I'm gonna try and do it better than everyone. You're gonna have the people trying to, like, come up with counters, and then you're also gonna have the people you know, who just continue to play whatever, and they're like, you know what, okay, I'm just gonna do my own thing. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But yeah, bow guitars are, like, really good into gaunts, and overall gauntlets just the best weapon. Now, as far as what gauntlets are super good at, I mean, starting combos in 2s I think is possibly one of their best points. Like, they're in 2s, I can't describe to you how often I just feel it's like it's so easy for me to be just starting, like, team combos and stuff. Gauntlets are always there to start. They can finish combos. I mean, it's crazy what they can do in 2s. Like, the amount of offstage shenanigans I get away with in 2s is crazy. Like, one reason, I've never been someone who outputs a ton of damage in 2s. Partly because of my playstyle, and partly just because a lot of the times I think I get, like, a lot of offstage plays, and that's a direct result of me being able to just run off stage with gauntlets, you know, and hit someone with, like, a Sarah Nair, or, like, track them down with a movable ground pound, by the way, and I literally can just, like, end their stock in 3 hits. To actually wrap up the point earlier though I was making about gauntlets' weaknesses, I think again in 2v2s it's borderline negligible. You're not really going to be, like, too concerned about matchups in that game mode just because of all the randomness that can happen, right? Like, a lot of the times, it doesn't matter if X loses to Y. At the end of the day, if you just kind of hit your combos, work with your teammate, and you're just, like, flying around doing moves, you're going to be okay. You're not going to really have to worry about, oh my gosh, like, I don't know, this person's playing guitars in 2s. Like, I can't play gauntlets into that. You really shouldn't ever be concerned about that. Maybe if it's double, but most of the time it won't be. Also, that was horrendous display of offstage as I just talked about it. Okay, ready? There we go. Nice. First stock on the Koji. By the way, this map is, like, I think terrible. I hate that they have 2 different tri-platform maps in this game. Like, one is plenty, and it should not, I don't think it should be Great Hall. Maybe you can modify Small Enigma, but I really think both try platform maps. Like, I'm okay with platforms. I prefer not to play on them. I'm okay with like the double on some, right? There's like some different things you can do, but the try platforms, it's too much. I feel like that's where error starts to happen for a lot of people, but that's not what this video is about. Moving on to Gauntlet like characters, and I guess actually Gauntlets in ones, already talked about them in twos, but Gauntlets in ones, that's where matchups kind of matter. And even then, again, it's Brawlhalla, and there's no matchup that's like that horrendous, I don't think. At the end of the day, if you're just a good enough player, you're not gonna have to care about that. But yeah, like Gauntlets and ones, they still feel very, very nice to play. Like, it's just a weapon where I don't think you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, this weapon I can only play in X game mode. Like, I guess that varies from person to person, but I've never had that thought for 1 second where I'm like, I can only play Gauntlets in twos. Like, I can't play this weapon in ones. Gauntlets are just, they're just so good because amount of pressure and amount of moves you can, like, just constantly swarm your opponent with. And in twos, that's only amplified, but in ones, it makes it so easy because you only have to track down one person. Like, only one person is needing to be tracked down with a nair. Please, I want you... Okay, clean two stock, whatever it did. I want to finish him off right there. That'd been crazy. I think another big helping factor is the characters that have gauntlets. When you look at the characters that have gauntlets, you have Val, you have Cross, you have Shang, you have Zaryo, you have Core. Like, I know I'm missing some, but that's not the point. The point is, all those that I named, I think the signatures are insane. I don't think there's a Petra. I don't think there's a single character that has gauntlets that has bad sigs. Now, you could argue maybe there's one or two. Like, Zaryo probably out of all those characters I named is the worst, but that's not even saying much considering when you have, like, Val side sig, when you have Shang and all his sigs, when you have Petra and her sigs, like, the Petra sigs don't even make sense. Petra sigs, they're literally, she can be a 3-dex character, and you have sigs that are, like, teleporting you around, just instant transmissions. Like, this isn't Dragon Ball Z. You are 4 dexterity. You're supposed to be low dexterity. You are the same dex as, like, I don't even know who's a good example. Queen Nai. You're literally borderline same dex as Queen Nai. And your sigs are, like, 10 times faster. Now, I'm not necessarily going to say they're way better. Also, I'm not going to say, I bought it out, but it kind of looked like it. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. And I think Brawlhalla, they did a good job. They recently did. I say recently. It's been a couple months now. But they actually had a patch that was mainly focused on SIGs. And I think that was, like, good. But I don't think that was necessarily what was needed, if I'm being completely honest. And let me clarify. I think they definitely hit some SIGs that needed to be hit. But I think they could have easily done so many more. Like, there's some SIGs in this game, and a lot of them, honestly, on Gauntlets, like, I think that they could for sure tag up. Like, it's just a no-brainer to me. Like, you see what they, like, buff and nerf, and you're like, oh yeah, you hit Scarlet with the D-Sig finally, D-Sig nerf on Hammer, but then you don't tag these SIGs too. Like, it just doesn't make much sense. It kind of, like, it only adds to the problem to a degree, I guess. It's hard to say because obviously you're nerfing stuff around Gauntlets. Like, this isn't the intention, is to make the game in a more balanced state, right? Or just to do some power shifting. But indirectly, you're kind of buffing certain things when you nerf other things, right? Or when you, like, fix certain things. Even if it is a fix, it's still a buff if it makes the weapon work correctly, or because it's going to end up working better. But Gauntlets, you know what? And I'm actually going to talk about that. Gauntlets don't really have too many problems like that. There's, like, one issue with Sidelight I've seen normally, or sometimes, and it's the only one I've seen. And it's when people, like, I don't even know how it happens. I haven't, like, paid attention to it enough. But basically, what happens with it, you hit a Sidelight and the person, like, shoots out the side. I think it's just a really weird, like, I don't know, just a really weird, like, angle you catch them on. It's hard for me to say, like I said. I haven't studied it because it literally happens not that often, if at all. Like, I think I've maybe had it happen to me twice, and I've been playing Gauntlets for a long time at this point. And I'm pretty sure they actually fixed it, but then I don't, like, or they said they fixed it, but turns out they didn't, so, yeah, I don't know. I really couldn't tell you, but Gauntlets have, like, no issues when it comes to dropping. What you can do, though, is, like I've kind of already done, every move leads into itself, and not into itself, but into, like, other moves on the kit, and the punishes you can get are ridiculous. Gauntlets, I genuinely think you could make it like Greatsword where there's super limited amounts of true combos, right? But the amount you can get off on Gauntlets is just absolutely insane. Gauntlets don't need all these true combos. You have such good punish game, such consistent punish game, and you can take so many different routes. Like, you don't need to be doing D-Light, Nair, Recovery, True. I don't even think that's a problem, though. I think that's, like, one of the few combos in the games that actually takes, like, consistent mechanical input. Like, I don't know if that's the right word to use there, but it takes some, like, decent ability to actually be able to hit that, like, consistently, right? Like, because there's, and you can tell because there's literally so many few people who can actually do it. And it's one of the few things I'm actually impressed when I see it hit. It's not like some auto combo necessarily. But like other things on Gauntlets, like I don't think you need, like what would be a good example? I don't think you need D-Light, N-Light. I don't think you need D-Light Dare. Like a lot of things off D-Light aside from the Nair you don't need. But to be fair, D-Light Recovery, I don't think you really need that either. Like Recovery already is such a quick and easy thing to throw out. I think Gauntlets, they don't need it. I don't think they need like another weird thing that I don't see used too often, but I don't think it's needed either, is like a Nair into like GC Sidelight into GC N-Light. Like Nair into both of those can be true. And first of all, I rarely see people use either. Specifically the GC Sidelight one. I think the GC Sidelight one is something that can be absolutely bonkers. But yeah, a lot of people don't use it. And I just don't see why it needs to be true there. Because a lot of the times anyways, you have situations where you're going to hit it anyways because the person has no dodge. Honestly, you just need to give Gauntlets less stun time on a lot of things. Gauntlets are one of the sickest weapons in Brawlhalla. And like design-wise, I think the team did just an absolutely like nutcase job. Like don't take me saying all this stuff about Gauntlets as me hating on them. Also, that ground pound is instantaneous. Like I think for being able to steer, it's way too fast. But anyways, yeah, I don't think like the Brawlhalla team is in fault here necessarily. I just think they made a super sick weapon that just naturally has a lot of pass because of design. So I guess, okay, you could say it's their fault, but you know, that's all I'm trying to portray. I'm just trying to give my thoughts and basically tell you guys why Gauntlets are extremely, extremely good. And there's not going to be a patch for like another couple months anyways. So get used to seeing a lot of Val if you haven't already, especially Michelangelo. I mean, they kind of hit the nail on the head with this one, selling a Val crossover. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys are prepared to deal with this. Look for counterplay, I encourage you. Or if not, just play Gauntlets and kind of accept it as it is. Or, you know, pick up Greatsword again, which I think might not be a bad idea for a lot of people. People need to, like, look into that weapon. That weapon's insane. But anyways, thank you guys. I'll see you around.